everyone, very good morning and good evening. Parminder here. Welcome to our sourcing and procurement learning sessions. So, in today's session, basically, we are going to demonstrate that how our blackboard or whiteboard teaching methods will help you to learn and grasp the concepts very quickly. So, we are going to pick a topic which is sourcing and procurement cycle in S4HANA, and I will elaborate that cycle quickly here so that you would be able to understand, you would be able to get flavored that in SAP, if the sourcing and procurement need to happen specifically in S4 HANA, what are the steps or what are the different key things which we need to do? Okay. So overall, if we discuss about sourcing and procurement, earlier it was known as the name of material management in ECC. So guys, just to tell you, the process is same. The overall process, the core of the process or the soul of the process is same. Any procurement process where you want to procure something, a demand need to come, then purchase requisition, purchase order. So that process remain intact. But on top of that, we will be having a lot of new functionalities in SAP S4 HANA. Okay, and we will be having a new user interface for SAP S4 HANA, which is called Fiori. So first of all, we'll be discussing so that all of the people who has a background in sourcing procurement or who doesn't have a background in sourcing and procurement, they would be able to understand what is the sourcing and procurement, what is the end-to-end cycle, and what kind of steps we need to do from the business side if you want to run that complete cycle. So in sourcing and procurement, basically what we want to do, we want to purchase something. Okay, as simple as that. We want to purchase something. From where we'll be purchasing it? We would be purchasing it from vendor, or it is also called supplier. Don't get confused with this words vendor or supplier. Mostly in S4HANA we use the word supplier. Okay, but both are the same. So we want to procure something from vendor and supplier, and against that procurement which we want to do it, we also want to raise invoice and pay them. And because vendor is supplying something, and we will be also be storing our inventory. So that is the high level things which we want to do it. Okay, now I will explain that how the end-to-end process would be working. High level, this is the straightforward process, but what are the minor steps would be there to do these steps? So first of all, if you want to procure something, there should be some demand, right? So from where, the first thing is from where the demand would be coming. So demand would be coming if you want to procure a material in an organization, the demand comes from the various sources. The demand can come from your production, let's say for giving example, production users wants to produce something, they want raw materials. Even demand can also come from sales. Sales wants to sell some material which we buy, so demand can also come from there. So how this demand comes to the procurement department? Do it comes directly, or we have some tool or engine in between? In between these demand, to convert them into the purchasing demand, this would be the overall demand, right? The raw materials demand or the materials demand, to exactly convert that what quantity we require and what date we require, we have a planning engine in between. So what is that planning engine? We call it as a MRP, material requirement planning. What do material requirement planning do? So simple guys, as simple as that. It makes sure we have a right material available at right time, at right place, in right quantity. So when the demand would be coming from these ones, from production, sales, or different departments, MRP would be taking care and checking, do we have a already purchasing is already done, or do we already have a stock? And then it would be finding out the shortages. what is the shortage of the material and what should be the delivery date of that material would be decided by MRP. And then based on that, MRP would be creating a first document. The first document would be created by MRP, which is purchase requisition. So this is the first document in our procurement side, which will be required to initiate the procurement process. So if we say for the procurement process, what is the demand or what is the requirement? This is the demand for procurement. Procurement process will start from here, from the purchase requisition. Okay. So in this process, MRP is generating a purchase requisition, but we can have another processes also where basically directly people can request for the material. So that would be basically your direct purchase requisition would be created manually. So mostly your indirect materials, your stationary items or the materials which is directly not used in production tools and other things are managed manually. Okay, your admin items are managed manually. So MRP generally would not be in place for them. Somebody need to directly create an indent and directly create a requirement that we require this material in that much of quantity at that date. So the requisition comes from the two places, guys. One, from the MRP engine, and secondly, manually also people can raise a requirement. So these all are the different department people who can raise the requirement. Now, from here, basically the procurement process will start. Once we get the purchase requisition, the procurement department will work. But how to create this purchase requisition? One purchase requisition we said will be created by MRP. Second can be created manually. Now here in S4HANA, there would be a new process which is called self-service procurement. So this self-service procurement was not available in the earlier version of ECC. It's only available with S4HANA. The self-service procurement helped these guys to initiate their requirement easily. They can use a web tool. They can also see the pictures of the products and they can select the products from the picture from a catalog. So that kind of easy mechanism is there. They can create a card, they can save the cart, and then later on the cart can be converted into the purchase requisition. So easier and the simpler process has been given. That is the additional process. Other way there is Fiori applications are also there, which can be used. That is also available only in S4HANA. Or we can also use the standard T codes approach like ME51N to create a purchase requisition. All of the things are available. So once a purchase requisition is created, do we have vendor assigned to purchase requisition, or is it mandatory to have a vendor, or is it mandatory to have a supplier inside the purchase requisition? Is it mandatory to have a material? Can I get some answers? I'm getting in the chat window. Yes, no, both type of answers. Guys, it is not mandatory to have a material or to have a supplier in purchase requisition. It can be generated without it. Although if it is generated through MRP, the minimum material should be there. Otherwise, planning would not be happen. But if it is created manually, the material can be blank. It can be a text material, and the vendor can also be blank. Same way from the MRP purchase requisition also, it can be created without a supplier. It's just a demand. Who will fulfill that demand? That is the part of the procurement team. They can decide that who would be the right vendor to get it supplied. So purchase requisition has been created here, which is just lying here. It doesn't have a vendor in our this scenario. It doesn't have any supplier that who is going to supply. What is the next process? The next process comes up is the approval. Now this approval process of purchase requisition is optional. Some companies has it, some companies doesn't have it. Generally, this indirect requirement, which is created manually, we put them that it goes for approval. And the MRP requirement, which is directly created because this demand is coming from bill of material and then specific master data and the forecasting is there, which is generating those demand. So we can skip for the MRP products purchase requisition approval. But that's totally a business decision. A purchase requisition can go for approval, any kind of purchase requisition, any kind of purchase requisition, we can make the configurations to skip it. So this is an optional process. Okay. Now the approval process, I will just highlight here. We are having a fantastic tool to set up workflows for the approval. So that also can happen only in S4HANA. We are having advanced Fiori workflow for the approval process. Earlier, we were having a limit of 8 to 9 levels. In ECC for the approvals, now we can go till 99 or even the limit is not there. You can go to the N number of level of approvals can be achieved with advanced Fiori workflow. It is very easy to maintain. Even your core user would also be able to understand that configuration and they would be able to do the changes directly in the productive or in the production system. So that's a very good functionality, but only available in S4HANA sourcing and procurement, not in ECC/MM. Okay. Now, once the approval is done, once the purchase requisition approval is done, then the procurement department works to identify the source. Then your source identification process starts. That who would be the source for it? Who is going to provide it? There can be two things here. One thing is that source is already available. More than one sources are available. Second thing is it's a first time requirement a user has generated or from the production team has generated, or we don't have any source. Or there can be a source, but we are not interested to buy from that source. We don't like him. We need a new vendor. So what would be the process? Then the quotation process would start. RFQ would be created. RFQ is nothing but request for quotation. We are sharing our details with vendor and we are asking that we need this material in this quantity at that delivery date, whether you can provide it. Emails would be generated to vendors. Or if you can provide it, what would be the rate for it? Okay. So the RFQ process would be generated and the vendors will reply back with the quotation. Vendor will give their quotations and this quotation will go ahead. You will be doing a quotation comparison. So you got a multiple quotations, you will be doing a quotation comparison. And after the quotation comparison is done, you will do the reward. That which vendor you are going to give the contract or which vendor you are going to give the purchase order, that you would be deciding at this point. Okay, when you will be rewarding to a vendor. So this process is already existing in ECC, but in S4HANA, new object has been created for quotation process where advanced Fiori application has been provided, which can be used to generate this full quotation process. So there is a new way of doing it. Although the earlier way, the same way of ECC is also available, but we also have a new way to do the quotation process in S4HANA. In the above process where the source is already there, we are having a multiple source, you would be going ahead and doing the assign. Your purchasing department will assign the source. And where this assignment will happen, it can happen at the purchase requisition level itself. Okay, so here there is another thing available in SAP S4HANA, a fantastic way, a super and awesome way that when you are assigning the source, you can utilize analytics. By using analytics, you can see the multiple graphs. If the three vendors are there, which vendors generally you buy? What are the vendor scores from the previous performance? What are the prices comparison? So that thing you would be able to show to see in the analytics, and it will help you to make a decision that which vendor you need to select, which vendor you need to assign. Again, functionality only available in SAP S4 HANA, sourcing and procurement, not in ECC/MM. Once assignment of the source and purchase requisition happen, then what would be the next step? The next step would be your creation of purchase order. Again, here also the innovative applications are available. Earlier in ECC, we need to go to the multiple transactions. Very easy, track purchase order, monitor purchase order, manage purchase order applications has been given, where you can quickly convert your purchase requisitions into purchase order and you can easily manage and track them. So the purchase order would be created. That is the first legal document for the vendor. Okay. So that this is the purchase order would be a legal document. Purchase requisition is not a legal document. It's an internal document. Although we have created a purchase requisition, but there is no binding with vendor to buy it. We have not given it to vendor yet. Even though that this purchase order is created, still we have not given it to vendor. Okay. So one way is that assigning a source will be creating a purchase order. Another way is that this will link your once you reward it in the quotation process, this will create a purchase order. So there's two ways to it. Again, purchase order will go through the approval process. So now this approval is also optional, but in most of the businesses, they go for minimum purchase order approval. Whatever the implementation I have seen, all of the places, business has gone for purchase order approvals. Okay. So the approval will happen. Once the approval is done, then output would be triggered. Output can in the PDF forms can be triggered, and then here your supplier would be informed. Email would be generated to your supplier that a purchase order has been assigned. Automatically email can be given to the vendors. The purchase order has been approved and the output can be generated. And then they need to confirm back. Then they would be doing a confirmation process. They can confirm. Again, confirmation is also optional. Vendor can confirm back the quantity which has been mentioned and the prices which has been mentioned and the date which has been mentioned, whether they agree or not, or they want to change the delivery date. So that confirmation, once it comes, you can change a purchase order if the delivery quantities or dates need to be changed. After that, vendor would be actually shipping the goods and giving it to us. Okay, it will be delivering it. So once that delivery happen, what we will be doing, once we receive the goods, we create a good receipt. A good receipt would be created as soon as we receive them. Once we do the good receipt, our inventory will increase. It will show in our system as an inventory. Okay, we have received the inventory. If we have a quality department, it can link with QM. Inspection lot can be generated. Quality department can do the inspection, and as soon as you do the good receipt, financial entries, your general ledgers will also get hit. So this is the first place where your process will get linked with finance. Now we have received the goods, your general ledger of inventory and GRIR accounts will hit. So once you receive the goods, you would be able to consume. It will link with so many another processes. It can link with WM. It can link with the IM. It can link with production to get it consumed, or it can link with your sales order delivery process from where it can consume. But we will focus on the procurement process. So once the receipt is done, then vendor would be sending an invoice. The invoice can be sent with the good receipt, or sometime vendor can also send this invoice separately. So once this invoice has been received from supplier, we will be creating invoice We will be creating an invoice in our system. Okay, and once the invoice has been created, again this invoice can also go for the approval process now. But once the invoice has been created, it will successfully, it will go for schedule payment. Payment would be scheduled for the vendor, and based on the payment terms, the vendor will get the payment. Who would be doing the payment part? Again, your finance team would be handling the payment to the vendor. So your invoices would also be linked with the good receipt. There is a verification processes there which would be checking whether the good receipt has happened or not. Without good receipt, it doesn't, if you have that check in place, it will not be allowing you to punch the invoice. So in this process, again, for this output management, we have a new process which is called BRF plus. The outputs can be managed through the BRF plus in a much easier way now, without your conditioning usage of conditioning techniques, which was a very complicated way to do, which we were doing in ECC. For confirmation, we are having advanced Fiori applications, which supports to track the confirmations. Good receipt also can be easily done with your purchase order transaction itself. We can select the purchase order and we can directly jump to go ahead and do the good receipt rather than doing a separate transaction, typing a separate transaction. Specific Fiori applications are available. Invoice also has been innovated. Now there is a process, if you link with the OpenText and it has been configured, you can scan your invoices and put directly, upload directly in the Fiori applications. And from there, it would be able to generate a draft invoice first, which can be taken forward, reviewed it, and process it ahead for the confirmation and the final posting of invoice. So that is the additional process which is available in SAP S/4HANA. And then finally, the payment would be scheduled and our process will get completed. So guys, this is the overall process in sourcing and procurement. At high level, if you will see, and if you will try to do all these things with the standard transaction, you will not face any difference between ECC MM and sourcing and procurement in S/4HANA. But if you would be using a Fiori, okay, and if you would be using the advanced things which has been given with SAP S/4HANA, advanced function and features, you would see the innovations, you would see that the process has been drastically changed. All the screens which you see in your ECC, the same kind of screens are not available. Okay. Starting from this process, the MRP has also been innovated like anything. We have a DDMRP, demand driven MRP. We have a MRP live. We have a predictive MRP. All these things only with S/4HANA. Self-service procurement only with S/4HANA. Advanced Fiori workflow for the approvals only with S/4HANA. My Inbox application, where you can use it on the mobile to get the approvals done, okay, is available with S/4HANA. Your assignment of the source and then usage of analytics to make your decision is available with S/4HANA. Your new RFQ process with the Fiori application, that is also only available with S/4HANA. To manage, track your purchase order with the minimum entry in the systems, advanced Fiori applications are available with S/4HANA. Okay. New output management with BRF Plus is available with S/4HANA. Okay. For good receipt, invoices, and confirmation also, there are advanced function and features available. Apart from that, there are a lot of new things are available in S/4HANA, a lot of analytical applications. Your analytical applications are available with S/4HANA. A lot of reports which we are used to do as the custom report development, those kind of reports can be generated out of the box with the tools called query browsers available with S/4HANA. Another process is like vendor evaluation. Within the vendor evaluation, we have one process called soft evaluation. Soft evaluation is available with SAP S/4HANA. Okay, that's a new process. Then your classification and segmentation, where basically you can create a multiple segments. It is used in procurement planning. You create the people who work as a sourcing and procurement core guys, they would be knowing the segmentation. We create a different segments, and we allocate a budget to that segment, that this is our spend budget which is targeted, and then we try to manage those budgets to make sure that our full procurement are aligned on this budget part. So that is additional things available in S4 HANA, classification and segmentation. To make sure that your sourcing activities, you do a lot of additional activity in the sourcing, those sourcing activities are managed, okay, properly. So to do that, we are having the activity management. This is activity management also is only available with SAP S4 HANA. So basically it's a to-do list where basically you can find it out that a new project is coming. You can create a task, you can create activities, you can make a team, you can assign the task to them, and then you can monitor that. To launch a new car, you need a 50 new components. Who are your procurement team are working on? What kind of task has been assigned to them? Which task has been completed? Which is pending? All of this tracking and tracing, which earlier happened on the Excel sheets, can be done in your S4 HANA system itself with sourcing and procurement in S4 HANA. Apart from that, when we go through our training, this full process, we would be covering it. We would be doing the configuration, each of the part, purchase requisition, approvals part, your purchase order parts, linking with F5 for the GL things, all require a configuration in our SAP S/4HANA system. So we'll be going through the detailed configuration. We'll do all of this configuration, and then we will be setting up a master data, and then we'll do a end-to-end scenario run. When we'll be running end-to-end scenario, within this scenario, we'll put a multiple flavors. We'll be doing a multiple. We'll try to buy a material, a raw material. We'll try to buy a text material, indirect material. We'll try to buy some services. We'll try to do the scenario with the vendor returns. We'll try to do a scenario with vendor consignment. We'll try to do a scenario with the subcontracting. So all these flavors would be added to make this process. So this is a simple process to make this process more complex. And then we'll be also discussing about contracts, scheduling agreements, that also would be involved. But the high level and the core process would be this. And we would be doing a detailed configuration, master data setup, and running multiple scenarios on this process. So agenda of this today's session was that you would be able to understand that what kind of tools and techniques we use in the teaching. I have spoken in my demos in the multiple places that we use Blackboard or the whiteboard technologies to give our training, so that it would be more interactive training. It is not like a presentation is going on and somebody is speaking, and after 2 or 3 or 4 minutes 80% of the audience slept. So that's what I want to explain. Multiple people ask me that what do you mean by Blackboard training? What do you mean by whiteboard trainings? So this is what we mean, where basically all the diagrams will be drawn on the Blackboard, and that would be also shared with you. So all the scribblings which we do, we share with you by creating a session note document, and under the session note document, you would be having access to all of the scribblings. So this diagram is very good. As soon as you see this diagram, all the end-to-end picture would be clear in your mind, and it will also highlighting wherever the changes are coming, although these changes will be discussing in very detailed and very detailed, and everything will start from scratch. We'll start from scratch. What is ERP? What is SAP? And what is the basic configuration required? What is the org structure? We'll create our own company code, our own purchase organization. We'll create our own business partner. We'll create our own materials, and we'll do the end-to-end cycle. Okay, guys, thank you for joining this session. Thank you for giving your time to see it. We'll connect you in our training sessions. Thank you. Bye bye for now.